How's it going, everyone? The PlayStation Store is running its Black Friday sale. Yesterday, we took a look at games under the price of $10. Now it's time for games under the price of $5. Now, this will cover the Black Friday sale as well as the indie sale running concurrently right now. I consider it all a part of the Black Friday festivities, but let's get right into it, and let's start things off with Batman Return to Arkham, 75% off for $4.99. Man, oh man, Rocksteady, what a fall from grace that they seemingly have had. Suicide Squad, I hope it turns out well, but this is Rocksteady at their absolute peak. Batman Arkham Asylum and Arkham City were two tremendous titles and really opened the eyes to a lot of people that superhero video games, licensed games, could be really good. I remember going into the release of Arkham Asylum and I was like, yeah, bro, this game ain't gonna be good. I was like a teenager at that point. And even I was like, yeah, superhero games are always trash. And then Arkham Asylum came out, and it absolutely blew everyone away. The combat was great, the story was good, the voice acting was great, a decent bit of content, and then Arkham City obviously opened it up even more and was a great title as well. Both games for $5 is a no-brainer, and I'd give it a strong recommendation, whether you played the Arkham games back on the PS3 days, or this is your first venture into the Arkham franchise, a easy recommendation here. Next up, we have A Way Out from Hazelight and EA. This is 85% off for $4.49, a co-op only title, which, you know what, for the holiday festivities, playing a co-op game makes a lot of sense. It's all about family and whatnot, and why not check out A Way Out. It's got a really solid story, great art style here, and Hazelight as a studio has really carved out a niche for themselves in creating these like really compelling co-op titles. A Way Out was their debut game. They also did It Takes Two, which a lot of people think It Takes Two is even better than A Way Out. I thought A Way Out was really solid. It's a game that, you know, you can complete relatively quickly, don't get it twisted, but for $4.49, I think this is a really good buy, and I would definitely give it a shout here. Next up, Rayman Legends is 80% off for $3.99. I often talk up Rayman Legends. It's just a fantastic game, a fantastic platformer with an awesome art style, a good bit of content for a platformer as well. And I always need to mention, man, Ubisoft, you got so many quality IPs under your umbrella, and Rayman is absolutely one of them. I get it that maybe it's not as monetizable as an Assassin's Creed and that colossal open world and all that, but man, I feel like there's still an audience for high-quality platformers like this, and I would love to see another traditional Rayman game like a Rayman Legends, but for $4, this is a tremendous pickup, and I would give it a strong recommendation as well. If you're remotely into platformers, if you want to, you know, ease somebody into gaming with something pretty colorful, Rayman Legends is a really solid option, so $4 for that, no-brainer there. Next up, we have Among Us, which is 40% off for $2.99. Now, Among Us typically goes for $5, so its regular price fits the under $5 threshold, but it's on sale right now as well, so you guys already know what this is about. Social deduction game, great party title, and a great multiplayer game, and once again, kind of fits the festivities of the holidays, so I feel like Among Us is an easy recommendation on that regard as well. There was a period where I was playing this a lot whenever friends were online and we just wanted to kill time and like have a, you know, a good experience for a little bit. Among Us always offered that, and it was a good social experience. 40% off for $3, good price. So there. Next up, Dishonored Definitive Edition is 75% off for $4.99. Obviously, you guys know how I feel about this game. It's an absolutely awesome action stealth title where you can really play it however you want, whether you want to go the super action-heavy route or you want to, you know, be more methodical in your approach and take a more stealthy approach to the game. The latter is probably the more rewarding way to play the game, and that's probably what I would recommend, and there's actually some influences to how the game shakes out as far as how you play the game, but for $5, really solid pickup, and the Definitive Edition includes the DLC as well, which is quite nice. After you play this, obviously go play Dishonored 2 as well. That's a great game and a great outing, and Definitive Edition is available on Plus Premium, but, you know, Plus is what it is at this point, eh? Am I not right? Next up, we have Need for Speed Heat, 92% off for $4.79. You know what? The Need for Speed franchise is incredibly inconsistent these days. Sometimes you'll get like a quality game like a Hot Pursuit, and then sometimes you'll get that Need for Speed game from like 2015. Well, Need for Speed Heat from Ghost Games actually turned out to be quite good. Really embodied that arcade racing aspect, over-the-top gameplay. You know, some of the chases weren't great, but I felt like overall the game was solid. Soundtrack is really good and thematically really fit the tone of the game. Visually, I thought it looked pretty good. For this price point, I think it's a great pickup. $4.79, definitely would give it a shout at that price. So give that a look. I think it's a worthwhile pickup, and if you want an arcade racer, that's a pretty fun time. Next up, we have Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons, 80% off for $3.99. This is very much a shorter game, but it's got a great narrative, emotionally hooking, and it's pretty simplistic in terms of actually accessing the game, but I think anybody can jump in and at least get emotionally engrossed into the game. It's an epic journey of two brothers as they set out to find a cure for their dying father, so obviously with that, you can already tell that it's going to be a bit of a tearjerker as far as that is concerned. More of a puzzle-based game, but still a pretty good time all around. Next up, we have Torchlight II from Gearbox, 80% off for $3.99. This is an action RPG, dungeon crawling. It has multiplayer as well if you do want to play it that way. Open dynamic world, co-op play, and everything like that. Obviously, like these days, Diablo 3, Diablo 4, those games get the attention. Torchlight often compared to it, and Torchlight 3 ended up being not so great, but Torchlight 2 I had a great time with, and for $3.99, if you're looking for a dungeon crawling action RPG, not a bad shout there either. Next up, we have Red Faction 1 and 2. These are both $2.24 a pop. Now, these are obviously PS2 on PS4 titles, so they absolutely show their age, but these games were actually done by Volition, the same studio that brought you the Saints Row titles, and they're pretty good first-person shooters with an emphasis on destruction, and overall, it's definitely enjoyable. Not super lengthy or anything like that, but at the time, the games were pushing the envelope a little bit. Obviously, you're talking 2 decades ago, so keep your expectations in line, but you're paying $2 and change for these, so I think that's a pretty good deal. Next up, we have Thronebreaker: The Witcher Tale. Certainly the Witcher game that goes under the radar because it's not necessarily your traditional Witcher game. It is an RPG with an emphasis on the storytelling, a card game gimmick attached to it as well. More strategy-based, but still an enjoyable game all around. I wouldn't say, spend $20 on it, but $4.99 seems like a pretty good price to me. So those deals that I just mentioned, all of them were from the Black Friday sale. Now let's cover some deals from the indie sale. We have Limbo, and Inside. Limbo is a game that I think everybody should have in their library, and they probably do in some form, whether it be on an older console, whether it be, I believe it's on mobile phones, but nevertheless, Limbo was one of those downloadable titles that really showcased early on that downloadable titles on smaller size games could be remarkable in their own right. Limbo had an incredible aesthetic, great presentation, and just an incredible atmosphere as well, and that's true for Inside as well, the Playdead game that I feel like doesn't get enough love. It's at $4.99 and still a remarkable experience in its own right. The darker tone, ambiance, and atmosphere shines through here as well. For $4.99 or $2.49 for Limbo, both are great pickups. Next up, we have Lumines Remastered, 70% off for $4.49. Played the hell out of Lumines on PSP, and man, if I can say one thing about Lumines, it's an incredibly addicting experience. Great soundtrack here as well, and visually just very, very pleasing on the eyes, and a very chill game to play, but at the same time, a game that you can sink a lot of time into without even knowing and get pretty addicted. But Lumines Remastered is a really, really solid experience. And if you're into puzzlers with great soundtracks, I think this is one that you'll enjoy. And again, a game you can kick back, relax it, not being too action heavy or anything like that, I feel like Lumines is a really solid time. So $4.49, good price there. And lastly, Mark of the Ninja Remastered is 75% off for $4.99. I believe this is a new low for the game because I don't recall seeing this for $4.99 before. Usually it goes to $10 or $8, but $5, this is the perfect price where I can definitely strongly recommend Mark of the Ninja. It came out on the Xbox 360 initially. I don't believe it ever released on the PS3, but then we got this remastered release, updated visuals, includes the DLC, a really aesthetically pleasing action stealth title. Does not get enough love, but I strongly recommend it. If you do enjoy action stealth games, Mark of the Ninja will be right up your alley. And again, a game that does not get enough love. It being re-released at a full $20, I believe that's what its initial price was, and it might have even been $15 when it initially came out because that was the price point of downloadable games back then. But yeah, like the $20 initial price tag was a little bit high for a re-release, but for $4.99, again, if you're remotely into action stealth titles, this one's got an awesome visual style, great gameplay, and for this price point, I can easily give it a recommendation. So definitely check that out. That's probably one of the best deals that I've seen, honestly, across all of the sales. Just happy to see Mark of the Ninja sub $5, and it's a game that deserves more love, but the price point was a little bit high for my liking, and that's me being a little bit cheap for sure. But that'll do it for me. Again, a lot of great deals under the price of $5. As always, links to all of these deals will be in the description box down below. That's going to do it for me. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comments section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.